Good morning. So apparently this truck is gonna kill me and I need to have it serviced because the brakes are gonna go bad. So
I'm driving.
so Johnny's driving. He's volunteered as my driver, and yeah, we gotta go to Wilmington. Yay! Errands on a Wednesday. Thanks, man. So Johnny needs to do some lab lights.
Lab upgrade.
So
yeah.
he wants to do the hue lights, enhance. Is that what we're doing? The hue
yeah.
lights?
And we need a lot of them.
So I know what you guys are wanting to know, though. You guys are wanting to know how a convicted felon got into the Marine Corp and then got into special operations.
How you doing?
Just right then. What are you doing? Okay, so you want to know how I got into the military. And I get this question all the time. So first of all, let's start with what I actually did. I had 2 felonies. One was a burglary of conveyance. I basically got the entire rap for that. Nobody else got charged, my whole crew. Long story short, I was the one that got charged for it, and they gave me a felony as a minor. And so then I went on probation. Juvie was not cool, so I didn't like that whole thing. Anyways, ended up on probation from that. Got kicked out of my school that I was going to school, which was in Florida, and then couldn't go to the next middle school. And keep in mind, this is in middle school. I was in the 6th grade, 7th grade. Went to the next middle school. They said, no, we're not letting this kid in here. My poor mom, man, just dealing with it. At the same time, I'm doing this, I'm going through this. My grandfather was having triple bypass surgery. What a dick, right? So we went to like the 3rd school outside, like different same county, but like 1, 2, 3rd middle school away. They would take me. They gave me a shot, and what did I do? I ended up with a weapon on school property, which by itself is already bad. And nonetheless, that ended up, because I was probation, that ended up with my 2nd felony. Now, overall I had gang involvement, I had my felonies, I had a misdemeanor, and I also ended up with a GED. So this was later in life. I was making money. I really didn't want to stop making money. I was making lots of money out on the beach, working 2 jobs over my 10th grade summer. So it just didn't seem very lucrative to go back to school. So I made the executive decision to just get my GED and try to finish school early because I was working. I was living out on the beach. At this time I was 17, had my own house on the beach in Panama City Beach. And I was living life, so school just didn't seem that important. And so I had a lot I had a lot coming against me. Once I decided that I needed to join the Marine Corps, I had 2 felonies I had to deal with. I had a GED I had to deal with. I had admitted that I had done drugs. And when I was going through all my trouble, my mom thought was like, well, maybe he's just messed up and needs like to be on ADHD meds, which was not the case. But of course, you know, the doctors and medical being what they are were like, yeah, absolutely. So they put me on something, Wellbutrin maybe, something like that. But it's a psycho whatever drug, so I needed a waiver for that as well, which really enacted bad. It just made me super angry, and because I didn't need it. I was just being a little shit. So I had the drug issue, or the prescription drug issue, I had the actual drug issue. I had 2 felonies and I had a GED. So that's what I was up against. That was my whole package that I was dealing with. And if you remember, out of who I am as a filmmaker, and I'll share that here in a second, they basically told me no. Went to a recruiter and they said, "What are you thinking, kid? You did drugs, you were in a gang, you've got a felony, you don't have enough education." Denied, 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 denied. The worst thing they could have told me was no. And the moment you guys have all been waiting for is, what did I actually do about it? So, which that little video clip was funny. If you want to see the whole story, I'll link that below, but it's also the channel trailer. So here I am, I've got 2 felonies, I've got a GED, I've got medical waivers, I've got drug waivers. So they said no, 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 no. It took me 2 years to get into the Marine Corps. And the way that I looked at it was, they didn't owe me anything. I did the things, I had the rap sheet that I had, I was in the situation because of me. The Marine Corps did not owe me a shot. I owed them to prove that I was worth giving a shot. And I think that's where sometimes people get confused. It's like, well, I want to serve the military, so I deserve to allow me to serve the military. And that's not the case. So I'm the one that did the work. So what I did was, out the gate, was I started to get letters of recommendation. I started to, which I got over 100, and my mom helped me a little bit, but I got over 100 letters of recommendation for people, and not random people. And I get hit up all the time, people saying, "Hey, I want to get in, can you write me a letter of recommendation?" Bro, I don't know you. I got over 100 letters of recommendation from people that I either did community service with, that knew me from the time I was getting in trouble and being a little punk, to seeing how hard I was working at life and trying to prove myself and to gain a better life for myself. So I did that. Then I had to go to school. So in 1999, when I was supposed to be a senior in high school, I joined Coastal Community College and I started doing college classes. So this was a long plan. This happened for a long time. So I went to school and I got my college credits, which negated the GED to some extent. And so that was chopped off. So I've got my over 100 letters of recommendation. I've got my college credits. Now I had to pass the ASVAB, but because I had a GED, I had to get over a certain score on the ASVAB. And I didn't study for it. I didn't know anything. The internet wasn't even it was a thing, but it was not something that you searched for. I'm gonna go search the internet or Google something. That was not the way we did business. I didn't even know about studying for the ASVAB, so I just kept taking it. And on the 3rd time, I got the score that I need, and I honestly can't tell you what that score was supposed to be, but it was above average, which actually worked out because in the long run, because my GT, my general technical score, was over the minimum requirement for reconnaissance and special operations, which is where I ended up. And then I had to do interviews with everyone. Every senior leader from everything. And I didn't walk in there looking like a punk wannabe gangbanger. Like, I cleaned up my act, I cut my hair, I looked the part because I wanted to prove to them that they could give me a shot and I was gonna be a worthy Marine. Like, I was going to make something of myself. I was gonna take the opportunity that they had to give me, that they didn't have to, but they were the ones that were gonna have to, that were gonna do it if they so choose. That I was not gonna squander that opportunity. So I did all of that. I did, like I said, the 100 letter recommendations, all the waivers, all the, I had to go multiple, oh my, man, I remember like having to see these doctors because of the meds and the drugs and all this kind of stuff over and over. And they were getting me to count backwards by 7s and just silly shit. I went to MEPS like 3 times, but that's what it took. That's what it took. And I like I said, I looked at it from a standpoint of, I did the crime, and now I have to do the time. And I did the time. It took me 2 years to get in, but it was on me. And they finally gave me my shot after a long time. And another thing that I was doing that entire 2 years was I couldn't even be in the DEP. I couldn't even be in the delayed entry program. And I would still show up every, was it Saturdays or something like that? I would show up every Saturdays. I would talk to recruiters to let me go on their weekend trips where they go get yelled at by drill instructors and do obstacle courses and whatnot. I just showed up, and I kept showing up, and that became my mission in life. And those of you that follow me know that once I get fixated on something, that's it. That is the way that it's going, and I'm going to scorch earth to make it happen. I mean, before this, I was making anywhere from $1,000 to $3,000 a week cash, and that's the reason why I left school, and I gave it all up. I quit both those jobs. I gave up my place on the beach. I moved in with my grandmother. I was working for minimum wage at nights while going to school. I mean, I completely changed my life because what I was currently doing was not a setup to reach my goals. So I had to radically change my life in order for me to focus on what my mission was. Now, with all that said, that's what I did. That's how I got into the military. I had a waiver for my felonies. I had a waiver for my medications. I had a waiver for drugs. I had over 100 letters of recommendation. I went to MEPS 3 times, took the ASVAB multiple times, had to go to college. I had to put the work in. Now, that's what I did. I'm not saying that's gonna work for you. This was in 1999 to 2000. I don't know how it is today. I should meet up with a recruiter and do a second part of this series on what can be done today and what they're allowing. But at the end of the day, if you have any of those issues, maybe you just have one and the recruiters are going, nah, bro, you're a problem. I'd rather just take some qualified candidate, because there's so many qualified candidates out there. Why should you get a chance if you have all these issues? Why make this recruiter, this Marine, work for you, who, if you were a shitbag before, who's to say you're not gonna be a shitbag again? So prove it to them. Prove that you're worth something. Prove that you're worth serving this country. That's all I got. You guys know the deal. Hit this like button if you liked the video. Subscribe if you're not already subscribed. Hit the little bell and drop me a comment, and then share this with somebody who needs to see it. Other than that, never quit, never surrender. We always move forward. We'll see you guys in the next video.